Hello and welcome back to the Dorm Debate Podcast, the podcast where 4 college students talk about NFL events and news. Folks, we're down to 2 college students. It is me, Jared, and John right beside me. We have no clue where Jonathan is, and Caleb went back home for the Thanksgiving break. So it's just the 2 of us right now. It's going to be a shorter podcast than usual. We're first going to talk about a couple of the big games this week, or should I say last week. Vikings-Rams, big game there. We also had Eagles and Cowboys and Saints-Redskins. And also the big debut of Nathan Peterman, seeing how he did against the Chargers. But first off, we're going to talk about Vikings and Rams. Vikings dominated the whole game. Don't we have a lot of stats? John, do you have stats? Because I don't.
The only stat that I have is that the Rams scored on their opening drive and didn't score the rest of the game. That shows you how good the Vikings defense played. The Vikings and Case Keenum played a really good game. I know the Vikings were really pushing to put Bridgewater back in because they know he's their franchise quarterback, but Keenum's been stepping up lately. And on a short week, he's going to get Detroit on Thanksgiving. But right now, they just seem to be playing really well.
Yeah, something that they did that other teams haven't done so far is shut down Todd Gurley. He only had 1 rushing touchdown, and with that, he only had 37 yards rushing and 19 receiving yards. That's ridiculous. I applaud the Vikings entirely. I doubted them. I doubted Case Keenum.
You're gonna lose fantasy this week because you jinxed Gurley and said that he's guaranteed 30 fantasy points.
I think he didn't give me more than 15 this week.
That was his first week under 15 in a long time.
Yeah, I needed it too, which kind of sucked. But Vikings surprised me. I still like the Rams though. Honestly, I just don't believe in Case Keenum.
You believe in Goff more than Keenum?
I think I believe in Goff more than Keenum because of that run game.
Okay.
I think I rely on Gurley more than McKinnon and
Murray.
Dalvin Cook's still there, right?
No, he got injured for the year.
Murray did do most of the carries.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Goff didn't have a terrible game. I mean, 225, but he just had no interceptions, no touchdowns. So it was a very average game. They just couldn't get that offense to click because Gurley can't get going.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the Cowboys without Elliott. Just can't get anything going.
Yeah.
When you rely on a running back like that to get you the yards to really spark the offense and then he doesn't do it, you got to rely on your quarterback, and he's got to do it himself. But obviously Goff hasn't had that much experience doing that because Gurley's been putting up crazy numbers this year. We're going to turn it over to Saints and Redskins. The Saints, they were down by 15 against the Redskins, come back and win. That's their 8th straight win.
8th straight.
Which,
wow.
The last time they did that, folks, they won the Super Bowl. So
wow.
that's scary to think about.
And the Eagles are also on an 8-game winning streak. So that could be a possible NFC Championship game.
Yeah, and every time that they've gone on an 8-game win streak, they've made it to the Super Bowl at the least.
And every time were you talking about the Eagles?
Yeah, the Eagles.
That's crazy. So you just see how well they're doing. And the Saints' run game, we talk about it week after week. Nobody can stop it. They're gonna play the Rams this week on Sunday. So we'll see if the Rams can stop their run, the Saints' run attack. But the Saints just seem to be rolling right now, coming back and winning in overtime.
Talk about that 2 running back system with Ingram and Kamara.
Yeah, they are really, both of them together, they complement each other because Ingram's more of a power back. He's going to run in between the tackles and get you a lot of yards. And then you put Kamara in, and the defense has to still respect your run game because Kamara is actually averaging more yards per carry than Ingram, and he's has a lot of receiving yards. Kamara had to tie the game. He had the touchdown to tie it and the 2-point conversion to tie it, and that was 1 receiving and 1 rushing. So he could do it all. Ingram can do it all, and no matter who you put in, they're going to do well.
Okay, now to the most anticipated NFL debut since Tom Brady. Nathan Peterman for the Bills. No surprise here. He had 0 touchdowns. He had 1 more completion than he did interceptions. He had 6 completions, and he had 5 interceptions, folks. Chargers steamrolled the Bills. They had scored the most points they've ever scored since 1980.
Wow.
That's a statement win if I've ever had one. I mean, what are you thinking if you're the Bills?
I mean, you just got to think how bad of a decision you made.
That's horrible.
Not only did Peterman throw 5 interceptions, but Tyrod Taylor only threw 3 in this whole season.
That's the crazy thing.
And you bench him.
So wait, Peterman's stats were only for the first half.
Yeah, that was
5 interceptions the first half.
And his passer rating, the first half, 17.9. That's insane. I've never even heard of a passer rating that low. Like, you just got to be thinking that you made the wrong decision. Tyrod Taylor came in, did well, and you just got to move on from this. They get Kansas City next week.
Kansas City's a winnable game, too.
Yeah, it's winnable. Kansas City coming off a loss against the Giants.
Very big loss. That's a huge loss. They had 0 offense. Kareem Hunt didn't do anything. Alex Smith, the midseason MVP, didn't do anything.
They didn't take any chances. They just do small plays. They went to Tyreek Hill once down the field, and he caught it for like a 50-yard completion.
You know what I think happened? Young team goes 5-0. They start to get a little comfortable. They try and go a little conservative on their offense. And it comes to bite them in the butt because they've lost 5 of their last 6 games, or 4 of their last 5 games.
4 of their last 5.
They're sitting at 5-4 right now. Chargers
6-4.
6-4. I'm pretty sure the Chargers are 4-6, something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, my point is
close.
the AFC West is up for grabs right now. But you couldn't say that in week 5 when they're 5-0. I mean, they had it on lock, and all of a sudden, boom, you lose 4 straight games, and now you're looking at it, and Oakland has a chance, Chargers have a chance. Kansas City really blew this one. I mean, and you have to win against the Giants. Yeah. You have to.
Against a 1-8 team.
A 1-8 team who really has no desire to win.
Yeah, but what was really surprising to me was that Andy Reid, as a coach, after their bye week, he's 16-2 in his career. After the bye week,
they had a bye against the Giants.
They had a bye before the Giants game, and Andy Reid is 16-2 after games after he had a bye, and they lost to them. They didn't even get a touchdown. There were no touchdowns scored in that whole game, and I said after last week's podcast, I said I wanted to pick the Kansas City in my lock, but I know the Giants. Sometimes they go out and they just they don't care. Or they have horrible games, but then they have some of these games. Sometimes they just come out and play insane, like they did this week.
Wow, you have a bye to prepare for a 1-8 team. And
they must have been just so confident. They must have been just chilling.
That's just embarrassing. I don't have anything to say after that. Yeah. Moving on from one bad quarterback to another. Dak Prescott. Folks, Cowboys yet again lost. They got smacked in AT&T Stadium against the Eagles. Eagles had full control of the game in the second half. It was close in the first half.
First half ended 9-7.
First half was close, but at the end of the day, Cowboys came out with 0 touchdowns, folks. That's a big 0. Let's talk about Dak's night. His passer rating was a 30.4. Just take that in, folks. 0 touchdowns. And wait for this. The quarterback that doesn't throw interceptions, he threw 3 interceptions, folks.
And a lost fumble.
And a lost fumble.
Touchdown. 4
total turnovers. 0 passing touchdowns. 0 rushing touchdowns. Folks, you got to look at the obvious here. They need Elliott to win. Mm-hmm. It's just facts. Yeah, I think with Sean Lee, as I said before, this Sean Lee would help on the defensive side tremendously, but their problem is on offense. And
these last couple of games, they just haven't been able.
They've scored 1 touchdown in 2 games, and that touchdown was Dak's rushing touchdown.
And it came at a point when they got the ball at the 25-yard line.
Right. So they barely had to drive across the field. But Dak has not thrown a passing touchdown since Elliott has been gone. Just take that in, folks.
Wow.
I mean, we're seeing the raw Dak Prescott without a Pro Bowler next to him. We're seeing the raw Dak Prescott in his form where he has to carry the team. The team is on his back right now. The team's relying on him, and he's not stepping up. He's failed to do that. Elliott's done it multiple times. He just hasn't come up to the plate at all.
Something interesting Colin Cowherd talked about today. He compared Carson Wentz to a Maserati and Dak Prescott to a Ferrari. And I just want to change that a little bit. I would compare Dak Prescott to a Toyota Prius. And the reason I say that, or Toyota in general, is because Dak he's good for rides to the coffee shop or to grandma's house, but when you need to go long distance, he's just going to crash, burn, break down.
He won't make it.
He'll leave you on the side of the road.
Right, yeah.
And then they'll return it for a touchdown too.
Then you got to return the car.
Before the game last night, we were watching the Eagles and Cowboys, and before the game, I was like, Jared, I'm gonna count how many times Dak Prescott throws it 10. The ball is in the air for 10 scrimmage yards downfield. I think it only happened once or twice.
One time.
Or once, twice, and it was incomplete, or maybe one complete. So you just see how. You got to give credit to Carson Wentz, and his running backs are playing really well. But you just look at Dak, and he can't. We see it week after week. He can't really throw it downfield.
Yeah, I feel like we're giving a little too much credit to Dak and not enough credit to Elliott. A lot of Cowboys fans were saying that Alfred Morris, Rod Smith, Darren McFadden could run this community backfield, but you can't replace a Pro Bowler and Ezekiel Elliott. I think Ezekiel Elliott is way more important than Dak Prescott. First of all, you put any quarterback behind that Cowboys line and with Elliott, I even think Peterman could play behind the Cowboys line and next to Elliott. Elliott's more of a threat than Dak, so you're gonna have that defense come up and really worry about that rush game. But when they're not worrying about that and Elliott's out, they can cover the pass like nobody's business. So I just think yet again, Dak, the real Dak, will show up in the 6 games he's suspended. Let's take a look at the 2 games, folks. He's had 0 passing touchdowns, and he's had
3 interceptions.
3 interceptions. I think 6.
3 lost fumbles.
6 turnovers
in 2 games.
So 0 passing touchdowns and 6 turnovers, folks. And last game he had a 30 QBR rating.
Yep. And one final thing I want to say is that I'm still standing by my contract that's on the refrigerator that says Dak Prescott will get at least 4 interceptions in the 6 games that Elliott is gone. 3 of them came last week against the Eagles. I definitely think 1 against the Chargers, considering how good of a defensive line and edge rush they have. They're going to force Dak to get rid of it early and make throws that he shouldn't, and they'll get at least 1 pick.
Okay, guys, that covers all the games from Week 11. Now we're going to move on to the Thanksgiving Day games. I'm going to run through them a little bit. We have Minnesota at Detroit. We have the Chargers against the Cowboys. And we have the Giants at Washington. John, what's your favorite game this week?
The game I'm most interested to watch is the Minnesota-Detroit. Minnesota coming off a big win against the Rams. Detroit on a couple-game winning streak. And that's big because if Minnesota wins that game, they could start to pull away from the division. And it's a big game for Detroit at home. They usually play well on Thanksgiving, and we'll see what happens. That's a standout game for me. But I would love to see the Chargers edge rush and see if Tyron Smith, he's coming back on Thursday. And I would love to see if their line can step up and hold the Chargers D.
The game that I will be watching while I'm eating turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, stuffing, all the good stuff, gravy all over everything. I'm going to be sitting on the couch watching the absolute beating down of the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium again. They're going to have back-to-back blowout losses. They won't even get a... All right, I'll give them a field goal. I'll give them a field goal.
Yeah.
I say, yet again, 0 passing touchdowns for Dak. He will have 3 turnovers this game.
Wow.
Granted, Melvin Ingram on your left and Joey Bosa on your right. There's nowhere to go, folks. You turn left, you got Melvin Ingram. You go right, you got Joey Bosa, 2 of the best edge rushers in the game. And who are you going to throw to? Des Bryant? The man disappeared the last 3 games. 3 games, actually, the whole season. I haven't seen him at all. I mean, you got Cole Beasley, maybe. Witten hasn't shown up a lot. You got nowhere to pass to. Your offense sucks.
Oh, shit.
You got no rush game in Alfred Morris. Folks, I hate to break it to the Dallas fans, but your season's over. I think you guys are done. Chargers.
So is this a must-win for Dallas? If they're gonna make the playoffs, or like a wild card, they basically lost the division. But if they want a wild card, this is a must-win game, right?
It's a must-win for both teams. I think if the Chargers lose, they're in a really bad spot because then they're gonna have to win basically all the rest of their games. I think Dallas, it's a little more lenient. They'll still be in the wild card race. But the mentality just isn't there, and the offense just isn't there. They've shown no progress without Elliott whatsoever. The coaching, they made no adjustments. Grant, they did make adjustment at left tackle, but yet again, Prescott was sacked 4 times. I just think the coaching isn't there. It's just not their year, honestly. You got Sean Lee out. You got Elliott out. You got one of your best players on defense and your best player on offense out. You're not going to win ball games, especially close ball games. You can't even score a touchdown. So it's just the reality of the Cowboys this season. I mean, you'll be good next year when Elliott comes back and Sean Lee's healthy, but you got to throw in the towel this season. Give this game to the Chargers so we can make the playoffs.
So I'm interested to hear your opinion on the night game, Thanksgiving. The Giants at Washington. Giants just won at home against Kansas City. Washington blew a lead against the Saints, but they're playing really well. But they just lost Chris Thompson and Terrell Pryor for the season.
They lost Terrell Pryor?
Yep. Their starting wide receiver.
Why?
Gone. He just got put on IR today.
Oh my good Lord. That's huge, folks. That's huge. I did not know that. What's great about that, what's crazy is the Giants could win this game. They could easily win this. But do they want it? I mean, maybe, like, what's the benefit for the Giants? You're sitting here and they're talking about drafting Sam Darnold. They're talking about drafting Josh Rosen. They're talking about drafting Barkley. If you keep winning games now, you're going to move out of the top 5.
Are you telling them to lose on purpose?
I'm saying you got to tank.
Dude, the head coach will lose his job if they do that.
He's going to lose it anyway. He's already it's already a done deal,
It's
folks.
already done.
He's already out. He knows it. He's looking for a job at Wendy's or something.
Oh.
He ain't getting a job in the NFL, that's for sure.
With that haircut? You think
with that haircut?
You think they'll hire
God,
him at Wendy's?
No.
That's not good. Yeah. I really want to pick the Giants because they just beat Kansas City.
They're so inconsistent. Like you literally don't know how they're gonna play.
They could show up or they cannot. But in big games like this, I think they'll show up. But I think Washington, Kirk Cousins is playing really well, and I think Washington will come away with the win by a field goal or a little bit more. Yeah,
I think Washington will want it a little more just because they're closer in the playoff race with a wild card. They're really gonna want to win this game. Giants, I feel like if you win, great. But if you lose, fantastic. Because the closer Josh Rosen comes to you or Saquon Barkley just comes into your grasp and you can win a Super Bowl next year.
All right, now it's time for our lock and upset. All right, so for my lock, just looking at the schedule for this week, there just looks like a lot of locks, a lot of easy wins for teams on Sunday at 1 o'clock especially. The only really good game that on Sunday is New Orleans and the Rams. That's going to be a good game at 4:25. But with my lock, I'm going to go with Carolina over the Jets. Carolina's been on a good streak. They just had a bye last week. They get to plan for the Jets. They get Greg Olsen back from injury. So their offense is just going to get better from here on out. And in my upset, I'm going to pick the Lions over the Vikings on Thanksgiving at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I really think that the Detroit Lions will win the division. I said it 2-3 weeks ago. I said the Lions are going to make a run and they're going to win the division. I really like how Case Keenum is playing, but Detroit plays very well on Thanksgiving. They beat the Vikings by a field goal last year on Thanksgiving, 16-3. A field goal with 4 seconds left to win it by Matt Prater. And I think Detroit will win this game, come closer to the division lead, and end up winning the division in the long run.
Vikings are in the Detroit division, right?
Yeah, Vikings are leading the division, but Detroit will beat them and eventually win the division.
It's a bold statement. My lock is the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals do not have a quarterback. Jacksonville is the number 1 defense. They're going to murder that quarterback.
Oh, my God.
Whoever they put in that backfield, he will get murdered. It's just facts.
It's like a guaranteed 3 picks.
It's a guaranteed you're going to lose a leg. You're gonna break something, whether it's a collarbone or a freaking shoulder. You're gonna lose a leg. You're gonna lose an arm. Yeah, Jacksonville is just way too good on defense to let an easy win like this slip through their fingers. My upset. Just stretch out a little bit while I say this. Oh, by the way, let me just remind everybody. 2-0 yet again. Folks, I haven't been wrong for 3 straight weeks. Just take that in. You should pull out your money now and start betting on the teams that I spit out, because
hey, I'm going to go 2-0 this week. I picked the Saints and I get the Falcons tonight. They're going to win. Beat that Seattle secondary that's on IR. Mm-mm. They're all in bed right now.
They're all in bed. But anyway, yeah, basically I've been undefeated for 3 straight weeks. It's not changing anytime soon. The Chargers over the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium, folks. I said it earlier in this podcast. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa on the edge, an inexperienced Dak Prescott without Elliott. He doesn't know how to control the game. He doesn't know how to run that team without Elliott. He will get murdered in the backfield. I got the Chargers making the playoffs because of this win.
Hey,
shut the hell up.
I just have to bring this up. I'm sorry. So when we started the year, when this NFL season started, I found out that Jared was a Chargers fan, which is fine. And they start the year and they lose, 3 or 4 straight. But by like week 4 or 5, Jared's like, all right, that's it. I'm done. That I'm never coming back. I hate this team. They just better move back to San Diego. He's like, you know what? I need to find a different team. He's like, I like Jacksonville. I like the Rams. He's like, I'm going to just go and get on that bandwagon. He's like, I'm done. I'm never watching the Chargers. And then they started a win streak. And then they won a couple games. And then the AFC started getting really bad. and every team in the wild card is at 500 or below and Kansas City's been losing games, and all of a sudden Jared's back on the bandwagon. This bandwagon is getting beaten up because he's jumping on and off.
Look, folks, every dedicated fan goes through these phases of, loving.
I am a Giants fan, and I never gave up on them.
You wore DeAndre Hopkins jersey when they play. You don't even wear your Odell Beckham jersey.
They didn't play
anymore.
each other.
What do you mean?
Houston didn't play New York Giants.
Yeah, but you have an Odell Beckham jersey, and
He's injured for the year.
He's injured for the year.
Obviously, I'm gonna wear Hopkins.
You can still support him. Anyway, every fan goes through this where like your team starts losing, and you just get fed up with it, and you're like, I'm done. But it's kind of like when you say like, it's like me saying I'm gonna go work out.
Yeah, I told you. I'm gonna work out. When we come back from Thanksgiving break, I'm gonna go every day, and I'm like, bullshit. Come on, give me a break.
No, that's true. That's facts.
All right, we're gonna bring this up later.
But let me wrap this up a little bit. Every fan goes through that. We're like, you're just torn and you're sick of losing. And the way the Chargers lose is they lose the last second. They either win and they come back after driving freaking 90 yards in the last minute of the game, or they throw an interception in the last minute, or they miss a field goal. Take this in, folks. The first 2 games of the Chargers season, Young Ho Ko used to be their kicker. Now he's not. He missed 2 game-winning kicks, one against the Broncos and one against, I think, the Dolphins. That's so painful as a fan. So I just got fed up with it, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to take a break from them and watch another team. So I decided to watch Jacksonville. And then I come back, and the Chargers are winning, and guess what? I'm back on it. And it's not like I forgot about it. I've been a fan forever. My mom sent me a photo 2 days ago of me wearing a Chargers hat back when I was 8 years old. So it's not like, it's in my blood right now. I can't just leave them. So right now, we got everything clicking. I'm ready to freaking make a playoff run. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, who blew up that game. Absolutely blew up. We have everything clicking on all cylinders. Chargers over Cowboys. All right, guys, that wraps up episode 5 of this Dorm Debate podcast. Folks, if you like this podcast, click that like button down below. If you thought that we said something that you didn't like, comment that down below. We want some debates in the comments section. That's what we want. Please share this with your friends. Grow this podcast. We will see you guys episode 6 next week. Hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Hope you have a lot of turkeys. I hope you guys watch some football. And I hope your team wins this week. Folks, we are out. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.